The Chariot Reversed. In reversal, the Chariot is still a card about movement. This movement can be literal from one physical place to another, or metaphysical, a change in where you or someone close to you needs a change in their heart and/or mind. General. The reversed chariot can indicate that you need to take a hard look at where you are going and why. Don't allow yourself to engage in movement just for the sake of movement. Purpose and direction is important at times. Work. The reversed chariot may well point to a tendency to push too far, too fast. Yes, your ideas are good, and yes, you are right to be enthusiastic about them. However, you cannot expect others to be at the same speed as you are. Be circumspect, and try to frame your messages in a variety of ways so that others can hear you. Love. When the reversed chariot appears, you may have come to the conclusion that you have met someone very special and that you need to push hard to get into this relationship, or vice versa, you are feeling as though you probably need to get out of one. In reversal, there's a signal here that you should temper either impulse, especially that of pursuing a new relationship too enthusiastically. There's a reason why they say good things come to those who wait. Don't be afraid to wait. Finances. You may be feeling a great deal of energy toward getting things accomplished and improving your financial lot in life. There is nothing wrong with this. However, receiving this card in reversal can indicate a need to slow down and solicit at least one or two more opinions about your planned course of action. Remember the ironclad rule: if something seems too good to be true, it is too good to be true. Be prudent. Health. You may be all fired up and ready to move forward in taking steps to improve your health. That's a good thing. But don't get so carried away with speed and exercising too much so that you create a counterproductive situation. You can't and shouldn't go from 0 to 120 miles per hour overnight. You'd risk injury or at the least starting something you won't finish. Improve your fitness gradually. Spirituality. When you receive the Chariot in reverse in the context of spirituality, you may have the feeling that you have finally found some spiritual answers that you have long been searching for. There is doubtless some truth to this. However, when the card is in reverse, there is a slight warning implied here. By all means explore the newfound spiritual understanding. However, think 10 or 12 times before entrusting your entire spiritual being to someone else or to an organization. Trust yourself, first. Tarot history. The history of the tarot is shrouded in mystery. Very little in the way of concrete information is known about its origin, although many things have been written about it. We will probably never know the truth, as fact and fiction seem to be irrevocably mixed nowadays. The tarot originated in northern Italy in the early 15th century. Sometime between 1420 to 1440. Despite the fact that it is often attributed to originating from China, Egypt, India, or Morocco, to name just a few, there is absolutely no evidence that this is the case. Nor, as is often quoted, is there any evidence whatsoever that the tarot was brought to Europe by the Romanis. The name tarot is often attributed to being Egyptian, Hebrew, or Latin. This is not the case. The earliest names are all Italian in origin. The cards were originally called carte de triomphe. Around 1530 the word tarocchi began to be used to differentiate them from a new game of triumphs that was in vogue at the time. The etymology of this new word is unknown. The German variant was known as tarot and the French tarot. The symbolism for the tarot is drawn from the culture of medieval and Renaissance Europe. The tarot subjects are distinctive to European Christendom. The symbolism does not come from Egypt or any of the other exotic locales often mentioned. It is often stated that modern-day playing cards evolved from the tarot. This is not the case. Modern-day playing cards came to Europe courtesy of Islam. They were an adaptation of the Islamic Mamluk cards. They appeared quite suddenly in many different European cities between 1375 and 1378. These early cards had suits of cups, swords, coins, and polo sticks, and courts consisting of a king and two male underlings. The tarot adds the Fool, the trumps, and a set of queens to this system. Sometime before 1480, the French introduced cards with the now familiar suits of hearts, clubs, spades, and diamonds. The Joker is not original to either the early form of modern-day cards, or to the tarot, but instead originated in the USA around 1857 and was used as a wild card in poker as well as the highest trump in euchre. It is also often stated that the Catholic and Protestant churches outlawed the tarot and all who used it in an effort to stamp out so-called heretical teachings. This is not the case. The Inquisition documented what the Church considered as evidence of heresy in great detail. The tarot was not even mentioned. After the Reformation, less controversial images for the Pope and Papess were substituted by card makers as the Church had objected to the original images. It is often said that the tarot was not used as a divination tool prior to 1781. The tarot was used as early as the 16th century to compose poems describing personality characteristics. There is historical evidence that in one case at least these verses were presented as relating to the person's fate. In other words, divination. Divinatory meanings were assigned to the tarot in Bologna in the early 1700s, and this is the first unambiguous evidence of tarot divination. Ordinary playing cards were connected with divination as early as 1487. It is not unreasonable to think that the tarot was also. The tarot has often been attributed with being a pillar of Western esoterica occultism. This is certainly not the case. The first occult writers to discuss the tarot were Court de Gabellin and the Comte de Melot in 1781. The tarot was not mentioned in any occult work for the first 350 years of its existence. The terms Major Arcana, Minor Arcana, High Priestess, and Hierophant are anachronistic when referring to the older tarot decks. The historically appropriate terms are the Trumps and the Fool, the suit cards, Papess or Popess, and Pope. Likewise, Pentacles and Wands are relatively recent substitutions for the traditional suit names of coins and staves or batons. The original Italian titles of the cards were in some cases different from the later French titles that have become familiar to us through the Tarot de Marseille and its descendants. Also, the ordering of the trumps varied considerably in Italy where the cards originated. It is not known which ordering is the earliest one. Even the number of cards in the deck varied a great deal. So care should be used in making statements about the original meaning of the cards based on the familiar titles and ordering. Many believe that the Waite-Smith Tarot is the original, standard, or most authentic tarot deck in existence. This is absolutely untrue. The Waite-Smith/Rider-Waite deck was created in 1909. Not even 100 years ago, making it a relative newcomer in the almost 600-year history of the tarot. There is actually no definitive version of the tarot.